Hey everybody, welcome back to Curly Girl 6. My name is Jessica Hanna, if this is the first time you're joining me, and today is a really big day in our house because it is my daughter's 4th birthday today. And it's actually the first birthday that we are able to celebrate with her because we adopted her last year in the fall. So she has been living with us full time for almost 10 months. And it will be a year at the end of August. So we really are coming up on a year together, but this will be our very first birthday that we're celebrating with her. So as I was sitting here thinking about today, and I thought, this is a perfect opportunity for me to share with you a little bit about our adoption journey. We have 3 biological boys, and our youngest is 9. And when he was 6, we started talking about the option to adopt. I'm not able to have any more children. We always wanted to have more, and of course I always wanted to have a girl. And what better way to make a difference in the world than to find a child that needs a home. So my husband and I started this journey. I guess from the time we started our adoption journey to the time that we met our daughter and she moved in with us, it was 3 years. It was a 3-year process. And not a lot happened at the beginning except our legwork and a whole bunch of nothing in the middle, and then it really all came together at the very end. Now everybody's path is going to be different, and there are so many different ways you can choose to adopt. You can go international, you can go domestic, you can do open adoption, you can do private adoption, you can do closed adoption, you can adopt an infant, you can adopt older children, you can adopt out of the foster care system. There are so many different ways to adopt. And we tried started a lot of different paths. The first thing we did is we became what's called home study ready. And we spent the money to have someone come in and really look us over our lives and put a packet together saying that we were approved to adopt. And you can go 2 different routes. You can be home study ready domestically or home study ready for international. And we chose to do both because at the beginning, we didn't know if we were going to adopt internationally or here domestically in the States. So we decided to start looking at international adoption. And we were going through the country of China. We were approved, and you actually have to be approved by the country to adopt. And again, there's a whole nother process of being scrutinized to determine if you can adopt from their country. And they approved us and said yes. Not to go into too many details, doors started to close, and we started to try to figure out what we were going to do next. And we, at this point, we were about a year into the process, and every year you need to update your home study, which is another cost involved. We have spent quite a bit of money, and we have made, I don't want to call them mistakes because I truly believe everything happens for a reason, but we learned a lot in this process. And now one of those, I guess it's a passion of mine now. I never knew that it would be, or that it could be, or that I could be potentially someone to be helpful in this area. But I want to help those that are trying to adopt, thinking about adopting, kind of navigate the waters, because I can't tell you how many times my husband and I had conversations and we were like, what's wrong with our family? Why are we not being chosen? And just really wanting to throw in the towel and walk away. And I'm so glad we didn't. But a lot of families do. It's not easy, and it is worth every single moment. And you won't know that till you're on the other end, having that little hand wrapped around your finger or celebrating their first birthday with you. It truly has been amazing. So after the doors started closing and we changed from international to domestic, we increased our age, because you have to pick an age you want to adopt. Do you want to adopt infant through 2 years old, or older children, adolescents, teenagers? That's a really big decision you have to make when you are becoming home study ready. They will ask you what age you're looking for, if there's a gender you're looking for. If you're looking to adopt multiple, like a sibling group, it's a little bit easier to adopt actually, because that's hard for a lot of people to take on a task of more than one at a time. So we went that route. We decided we were going to adopt a little girl out of the foster care system that was 8 years or younger. It's really important that you don't break up your birth order of your current children in your home, whether they're biological or already adopted. And so since our youngest son was 8 at the time, once we were to this point, we decided that we would do 8 or younger. And we searched on tons and tons of websites. Familyforeverychild.org is a really great site that we went through and had some wonderful people try and help us. Unfortunately, every time we inquired about some of these girls, we would be completely ignored, or we would end up having a response that pretty much said we weren't a good fit. And that's really hard to take when you are trying to open your home to children that don't have a home. And to say you're not a good fit is really heartbreaking. But again, I feel like I have to say, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And even though it was really hard during those times when we would get, in a sense, those rejection emails, I knew that there was going to be something that was coming, a little girl coming at some point. It couldn't take forever. So we kept going. Come to find out, we had an error on our home study we were completely unaware of. And so all of those girls, the dozens and dozens of girls that we had been trying to adopt, that we had been inquiring about in the foster care system, we were being rejected, not because of our family, but because our home study had an error saying we were looking for a very young child, and that was not the case. So we had that corrected, and I was given a contact of a local lady here in Florida who works with a particular department that deals with foster care children and those that are looking to be adopted. And it wasn't 6 months from when we corrected our home study and I had reached out to this woman that I got a call. And it was this woman asking if we were still interested in adopting a little girl. She said that she had one that was 5 years or younger, and if we were still interested, we could come in for what's called a matching meeting. And so I was ecstatic, now cautious because we had been rejected so much, but we had never gotten this far where people actually wanted to meet us and had kind of chosen us to see what kind of fit we would be for her. So this was in June of 2016. And we went for a meeting at the very end of June and got to meet the foster parents of this little girl who at the time had just turned 3. And we got to meet her the next week. And they picked us and we picked them. I mean, that's really how it works. It was kind of neat because for the longest time I'm like, oh, okay, you know, they're going to pick us. And then they were like, well, do you want to do this? Well, of course we do, but we had to. This is the hardest part. They made us wait 24 hours. They made us wait 24 hours to say yes or no. And it just happened to be on a Friday that we met. And so we had to wait until Monday to call and say, yes, we want to move forward with this. We want to meet her. We want her to meet us and our boys. And what's so cool is that when we met her for the first time, and, you know, because she's in the foster care system, the caseworker was there, her guardian ad litem was there, her foster parents were there. It was like this big old thing. We met at a mall where the kids could play. And although there were people that were really observing us, it was like no one was in the room. She connected with my husband and I right away. We found out later that as we were leaving after about an hour visit, she was trying to follow us through the mall. She kept looking back at her foster family and then looking at our backs as we were walking away. And there was just an instant connection, which was so neat to hear about that after the fact, because we felt it, but to know that she felt it too. So we moved forward with everything and it went so smoothly. Our caseworker said she had never had something go as smoothly as ours had, which really is a testament to knowing that when it's the right thing and it's the right timing and it's the right situation, it will go most of the time. Hopefully it will go very smoothly once you get to this point. Not always the case. I understand that for us. I feel very blessed that it did. And so we started our supervised visits from there, and we would go to her foster family's house and we would hang out and we'd watch movies, we'd have dinner, they'd come to ours, we'd go out for ice cream, and we did this for about a month. And then we were able to do unsupervised visits. And what was really neat is I got the approval to do this right before the start of school. And I am a former teacher. So I I was teaching at the school, all my kids were going to, and my daughter was going to go too. So since we had unsupervised visits, I was able to drive to her foster home in the morning, pick her up really early, drive her for the very first day of school at her new school where she would be when this was complete. And she never missed a day. And it was just really neat that everything kind of lined up the way it did. So we did unsupervised visits for a few more weeks, and then we got to start overnights. Now, overnights with such a young child, you have to be somewhat careful because you don't want to confuse them. And everyone was on board with moving as fast as we could because we all loved her and we all wanted to make sure that it was not too confusing for her. It was about 3 weeks after school started that it was official and she was able to move in with us full time. Now there's a rule in Florida, a law, that you have to wait 90 days from the day the child moves in with you full time before you can legally adopt them. And we were to the day, November 22nd, 2016, we adopted our daughter and she adopted our last name just like that. And I just wanted to share our story a little bit with this being such a big day, her birthday, the first one with us, and just the path. And know that if adoption is on your heart, if you have ever thought about it or considered it, know that people do it. They fight through it. It's hard, but it's worth it. And if you can make a difference in one child's life, why would you not? I know there's a quote out there, and I'm probably going to misquote it, but I think it's so important. One person can't necessarily change the world, but you can change the world for one person. And I truly feel like through this process, although we did it with the intention of providing a home for a child that really needed it, she has come in and changed our lives and our hearts. And it has been a year, almost a year of blessings beyond measure. So thank you for listening to my story. There will be a lot about our adoption process and the things that we're doing and what we're dealing with, because it's not all rainbows and unicorns. When you are having a child that was in the foster care system for so long come into your home, there were challenges, there were trials, there still are. But it doesn't negate the blessings that have come, and to see the growth and the change in her is amazing. It's wonderful. All right, I'm going to hop off. Can't wait to see you guys again next time. Thanks for sticking with me. Have a great day.